Hi, everybody. I have a few questions. Hope everybody's doing reasonably well. I have a few questions, and thanks very much for sending them in. This one is from David Wimble. And he asks, you've mentioned before that we're part of a team or group. As we grow as individuals, we can also potentially help the spiritual growth of the race, the planet, and shift the continuum. I'll just keep going here. Why is there such a strong resistance to being a member of this team or group? In other words, why is there such a powerful determination to remain totally independent on a special solo mission? Very interesting. And an interesting way to say it as well. This is a real complicated thing in a kind of a way. So maybe, and I've written some notes, and I'll try and see what happens here. This idea of a number of beings on our planet who are actually trying to be helpful to the species, to our species, by engaging with higher states directly and not letting anybody know that they're actually doing that, which is quite interesting. And of course, that brings up all the stories that I've been telling you over the years about being fortunate enough to meet some of these folks and being quite, I would say, fascinated at least, because each time that occurred, it made me realize that there was something going on, or perhaps something going on, one could say, that is way beyond our willingness to understand and perception, at least to even recognize such a state, because our focus is on our personality systems or forms, and we believe so dearly in them for the purpose of being actually like a god ourselves, which is kind of humorous in a way. But it's something that our almost every group or relationship that we have on this planet is focused on. We constantly compete. Businesses compete with each other for who's important. Politicians do the same thing. Religions do the same thing. No offense to anybody. It's just what we do. And so therefore, as a particular species at this time on this planet, we tend to think that we would like to be more important than anybody else. It's like a competition. It's almost like a game. And this kind of engagement is really not a game at all. It's a relationship. So we already have a relationship with higher states, but not a conscious one. And I've said so many times, as we begin to be more perceptive, that perception is used by us for the purpose of gaining value and importance because of our vulnerability. We actually think that no one can tell that this is what we're doing. This is so funny, because in the higher states, and it doesn't even have to be that high, you can see through this stuff because it's there to be perceived. Well, no one can, our view is no one can actually perceive anything that we don't allow them to see, you see. No strategies, no workings, nothing like that. It's just not real. However, it's real to many folks. So, politicians beat up on other politicians. Religions beat up on other religions. Businesses beat up on other businesses. And of course, individuals tend to do the same thing from time to time because they want to be recognized as valuable and important in their scheme of things. And everything around them in the environment tells them that this is okay. And it's really something that holds them. It's like building a tremendous shell inside. I'm getting to the personality orientations now. Inside the personality is actually a shell. And in a kind of a way, we use whatever we need to use, to utilize, and engage with the value that we place on our personalities. That is the nature of everyone's engagement with life. Whether you can see it or not, or others can see it in you, depends on a number of factors. Primarily, it depends on a thing that is called personality trust. It's really fascinating because there is another level of trust. Higher states will engage with others to help them to grow if there is a modicum of trust that can be developed within an individual so that that individual, instead of working for his or her own self-interest, will begin to work for the interest of helping others. This is a hard sell because if you do that, you're never recognized as being valuable under the criteria of this particular ruling form, a self-focused form. And in just about every engagement that people have in the world. And it's a dilemma. That's why engaging with real higher states is difficult because it's not something that you acquire. It's given internally for a purpose that's bigger than you, broader. Okay, now here's the personality form. The personality form itself has to be a little bit blurred for you to even recognize it. Normally, you can perceive energy in others with the personality construct. And you can perceive it in yourself. Well, if you perceive it in yourself, first thing you think of is, wow, you're really great now. You're really powerful and capable, and now you're a wonderful being because you can perceive some energy in others. This is the biggest dilemma with the teachings that I've been giving over the last 45 to 50 years. And I've always worried about this. And fundamentally, it's really, in a kind of a way, something to worry about. Because you have to worry about in yourself as well as anybody else. So this is a key. And this is a reminder So I try to keep reminding myself, but boy, this is really fascinating because the personality itself is always on guard relative to personalities, because that's where we live on this plane, on this planet, with an engagement with our own particular purposes. So, it's a dilemma. The personality construct is meant, in the early stages of its development, to think of engaging in a manner that presents as if it's really more valuable than anything else. Everyone has this, physically, emotionally, and mentally. That's one of the reasons why we are held in these positions. And we reiterate this, no matter what, how you yell and scream or engage with others, you still have this thing. And it's a dilemma. The problem with it is acting 101 occurs. People act as if they don't have it. And that's normal. The difference with higher state folks is they don't engage with others verbally very well. Oh, they have a few friends, they engage, yeah, fine. But they don't divulge a capacity to be linked up with higher states for a purpose of being helpful to others. We, on this level, our personality states, engage with verbalizations and the selling of a version of what must be important because you actually say it. Now, as soon as we talk about stuff like this, automatically, I know that so many folks are attempting not to do that. And this is hard, and they find out that it's very difficult. But there are those who won't attempt to find out because they're already encased with this tremendous vulnerability. And without that importance being there, they would feel terrible. So, feeling terrible is not a focus of higher states. Some people think that it kind of is from time to time, because there's a judgment aspect there. Well, that's our stuff. That's here on these planes. There's a judgment aspect that we all have, and we're all a part of, because it's species-wide. Learning how not to have that is one of the most difficult things you'll ever be involved with. As a matter of fact, part of the trust level that higher states have is not related to rules and regulations. It's relating to deepening a perception that goes beyond the need to be important. And I think this is very hard to teach. And I also think it's very hard to do. So, one of the, and I've always said this, one of the most important things that you can do is by teaching a little bit. And what it does, eventually, it puts you in a place where you get to see yourself. It's not about, and you do what you can for others, but you get to see yourself. And that is very helpful. But this is not the real reason for attempting to teach. The real reason is that you can be helped to express beyond your personality's construct. And that's one of the reasons why it's so difficult. Because teaching in our style of engaging often is teaching stuff we think we know. And we learn from others and we engage that way, and oh boy. And it's not the devaluing the other people's stuff. It's more like linking up inside. Our dilemma is, how do you tell when a person is linked up inside? And how much resentment would you have if that person was that way and you couldn't be? Because that would be following the normal engagement that a person might have on these planes. And I can understand that. I really can. Because it's very annoying. Because you speak through the shell. The annoyance is because of the shell. Higher state is not annoyed. The shell is. The thing we call personality form. Because it's set up in a way, automatically, is you versus others. And how can you have that? It's set up like a political system. It's bizarre, but it's true. So, however you make sense of this, because I'm talking to David here, and I'm talking to everybody else too, myself included, I have to say that, because I listen to this stuff. You realize, and you try to understand, that there is an inner engagement with higher states. That does not mean just speaking, I have an inner engagement with higher states. That is meaningless. However, here is a warning, and I mean it, and it's difficult. All of you are growing. You hear the warning? All of you are growing. No matter what anybody says, you're growing. And energy has come into you in graded levels, whatever that may be. Not my call. Your version of how able you are is pretty well nonsense. I'll just stop for a second. And that includes people who don't think they're growing and people who think they're really at the top of the heap. It's personality nonsense. The engagement that we have at this level in the initial stages is the ability to perceive a possible potential after, and I mean after, the early stages of expression and perception related to the styles of personality that we all have. Well, what's that mean? I mean, as we engage with higher states, you see life from a different perspective. You just want to be helpful, not anything other than be helpful on an inner state. How that relates is you want energy to operate through you and you not interfere with it. Here's a stage that everyone will go through to some degree as your sense of personal worth is lifted to the point where sometimes you'll see it and sometimes you won't, that you know you want to be the God. And that will happen in small pieces so that hopefully it won't hurt your ability to handle your vulnerability. If it does, there'll be a crust that you will form, and you will hold yourself in that position. Not because you're bad, but because you're using that flow for your own purposes. And it's self-protective. It's protective of you, so you won't be hurting yourself even more. And it's protective of others. However, others will align with that because in our world, that's what everybody does. Everyone goes through this in their own way. Seldom is it noted, but sometimes it is. The difficulty with it is that the relationship that we have with this state is prominent because the nature of the species is like that. Now, but as David has asked, slowly, if others can engage with this at this grassroots, it's not a verbalization thing there. It's an internal doing thing. Serge asked a question one time from Montreal about inner and outer perception. We are scarcely capable of outer perception, and we depend on that scarcity for our survival. At another state, beyond that, you would be seeing and understanding something on an external level, beyond what you can do, into a place where that link at a higher level would help you to back away from your own importance. So we're not there yet. But it is an avenue of engagement with higher states. We're not there. We're more involved with perceiving the energy and sense of worth or power, whatever that means, here on these states. The inner aspect of this is when you begin to be aware inside of another's insides, not another's a view of what you think another is like, which you can then tell everybody else, you see, because that's the personality thing coming out. And that gets you a little bit of seashells, because that's the what we use for monetary value here on this plane. I said seashells. There's abundance of it. Oh, we call it money, but it's not about that. Or self-worth. So, trying to understand this in a kind of a way seems to make us feel like as if we're not doing very well. That's a dilemma, because it isn't true. I said a minute ago or so, everyone is growing. Over the years, I've watched so many people grow so deeply. And the biggest thing is, as they grow, there's a sense of vulnerability that occurs because you're not utilizing the hardcore, the firmness that we need to use to show others that we are really valuable. It's a dilemma. The problem is that starts showing up in different places than other than how we used it before, because it's part of the shell, and the shell is very, very firm. Over the years, as you know, I've been teaching with some really interesting people. Thanks a lot to Doug Baker in England, who asked me to teach in different places. I acknowledge that because it's true. But at the same time, conversations about how difficult it is for a human being to understand that nothing is hidden from those other planes. Nothing. When you're still using your personality to assess from a higher state, and that is another level. To assess from a higher state relates to these places, which, by the way, is quite interesting in itself because the personality is very, very vulnerable when it has gentle, flowing energy operating into it and through it, and it's learning how to see on the external side of perception, the internal side, and at some point they mix together, they come together. But the personality is still a part of that at a different level. That's not what we're attempting to do here on these, in this small little group. We're attempting to get to the point where that flow can operate and you begin to notice it with your personality. But it's not an opinion. It's an experience that is different than the stimulation of the root gonad and solar plexus. Early intensity that occurs as you begin to grow. This makes it so hard to understand. And I remember the idea of becoming really able on these planes, as told by some folks that I've listened to over the years, is, I'll give you a rendering. I remember one person saying, never operate softly, operate really with a growling and a growling, and that way everyone will know you're powerful. And I said to this person, and she was quite an amazingly interesting person and a leader of a group. I said, if you do that, that whole form that you already have will start getting stronger in there. And you'll then act out as a personality instead of engaging as a being of consciousness that relates to a higher state. Because the personality form in this species is actually focused on that. You'll have reams of energy that come into you, and you will be inundated with power that will hold you to these planes. And she said, even if I believed you, I wouldn't want that to happen, even if I didn't believe you. I said, well, that's something you're going to have to figure out for yourself. Because it makes it very difficult for us as human beings to engage with higher states. But we can engage with verbalization that relate to the states that we believe we're in. See how difficult this is. So Dave's idea of a team, it's true, I've said that. It's difficult for us to be part of a team when the independence is so strong. And it relates to the fear of not being recognized as an important person. I remember really well, Lee Martin and I were in Sedona many, many, many years ago. I can't remember whether it was in the 70s or the 80s. I think it was the 80s, Marlene is saying. And I was giving a talk, and I did, and to a group of people that were from all over the United States. And I said, wouldn't it be lovely if we could, in the morning, walk out and see our neighbors outside, engaging with them and saying, Lydia, my gosh, that throat center of yours has shifted and it's gone right up to that left-hand side of your brow. Wow, that's so wonderful. And then she turns and says, and that nose hair chakra of yours has developed and gone into your brow. Isn't it wonderful? And that turns the heart center on a little bit more, and maybe we can see deeper than beyond ourselves.
Have a good day.
And this person legitimately and effervescently raised her hand, and she says, I would not want that to happen. I've spent thousands of dollars learning about this spiritual stuff, and by God, that would be a waste of my money if everybody had the same thing. And it's totally true relative to how we do things on these planes. And it was wonderful. I couldn't have asked for something better. And then I said, you see how difficult it is. We work very hard to align with what other people tell us spiritual growth is and how important we are. Even if we start perceiving a little bit and we perceive the power of the species in us. The power of the species in us. and how we are affecting the species to make it even stronger in relationship to our individual actions and how important we are and how we defend ourselves and all the rest of it. And by the way, we're going to have to do that for quite a long time until we get to the point where we can allow ourselves to understand beyond that into an understanding of what loving is. Loving is kind of, and a kind of compassion too, that you wouldn't want anything bad to happen to even a person that you have a hard time engaging with. Truly, you would like to have them grow too, no matter what. And that also affects the love you have for yourself. It's not a mental thing. We can't go there yet. We have a mental thing, but it's emotionally mental. And we're quite proud of it. A mental thing is the willingness to allow oneself to be okay with what it sees and to understand that maybe we can learn from that and pull away from some of the stuff that we picked up along the way and continue to add as we can, when we can, how we can, not by hurting others. It's a really interesting thing. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I've just talked about, and it's really uncomfortable. So all of that stuff you could look at and say, well, you know what, we haven't got a snowball's chance in where of gaining access to higher states. No, we don't. Not the way you're thinking. Not the way I'm thinking right now. But we do, because we're already there, linked up, and we're alive. One person. But learning how to be okay when we don't feel we're okay. And not beating up on other people, which we are wont to do. It's a big dilemma. Add to this one little tiny thing. Those higher state beings who are very capable would not want to be known by anyone. I'm just saying they're there. I just give examples of them being there the best I can. Because in all good conscience, I think it's important for people to know that, so that we can at least think it's worthwhile moving in that direction. But little at a time, and being okay. Caring for people the best you can. There is a level of trust that occurs at that state. It's beyond our normal recognition level. If a person has that level of trust with a higher state, no matter what happens, they will continue to grow. I think this is important. And that is a big deal. Why? Because that level of trust is seen as, I'll try to give you an example. If you attempt to do the best you can, just see how you function and don't judge it, but don't elevate it. You will not be very happy. And that's what I've been asking you to try to do. Why will you not be happy? Because no one will know that you're trying to do it. That is a movement towards having a level of trust at a higher state. Because they know then you will not let anyone know specifically who has that particular link. Stronger and stronger and stronger. But they will know you. I'll guarantee you that. And I'm just a kid. Same as you. Sort of. I'm a kid in my place of growth. You're a kid in your place of growth. She's a kid in her place of growth. He's a kid in his place of growth. Goes, if there were 1,000 people listening and there isn't, all of those would be a kid in their place of growth. This is such an important concept, but not one that anyone likes to hear. Because it's just too much out of sync with the construct that relates directly to these planes. Do it a little bit. You're trying to construct the link. Do it as you can. And remember, we're not on this planet long. Do it as you can, when you can. And just recognize that you're okay and continue to grow best you can. How are we doing for time? I thought there was something else that I was going to just talk about here too, but yeah, I think it was to do with the, in other words, why is there so much powerful determination to remain totally independent on a special soul mission? I think I've talked about that because of our great vulnerability. You know, people often recognize that you're not really important unless large numbers of people listen to you. I'm not a big subscriber to that, and I never have been. And there's good reason for that. Because it stimulates your personality to think you're all extra special. And everybody is extra special. Even the person you don't like. I don't care who it is. Even the person you do like. They're just a person. Often the relationship that we have with others is energy focused. So if somebody is acting like they're really important, they'll be giving you the juice that goes with it. So that's where they're at. If that's where you want to be, that's where you'll tend to be. And you'll be fooled by it because you'll be blind to it. None of us are free of everything. We all have blindness within us. It is a fact. It's the way it is. We will see some things, we'll not see others. In relating to this kind of an idea, it makes us feel important if we can, I remember, I don't know, has anyone ever seen a peacock? Well, they fluff their feathers up if they're, in the mating game. They're really quite something, and they can do a series of noises. And other kinds of birds fluff their feathers up if they're antagonized, or they'll fight or flight, this kind of an idea. Good old root center stuff. All of these forms have root centers. Take a look at the animals, you'll see people. Take a look at people, you'll see animals. Have a sense of humor, because it's really important to do so. And number one, I wish everybody such good growing. There is one tiny little thing, though, from another. I have to, part of Carol's question, which I will talk about at the end of August, because we're not going to be here for the next coming 2 weeks. And we'll be here, I think it's on the 22nd. That'll be a Thursday, so would appreciate other questions as well. But she asked me an honest question. There's a lot of stuff that you can actually do. Sometimes coming out of all the stuff that we do, it's energy stuff that we do. If you can't remember this stuff, here's what you do. Videos. The best you can. Here's what you do. Try to engage in your mind version of a higher state. Try to make it as if you were a little child asking help from a very able being. I hope you heard this last sentence, because normally it can get rotish. And ask for guidance and protection, especially in your meditations. And you're going into this meditation, and you're coming out of it. Saul Lewis used to talk about this, a guy from Detroit who was a teacher down in Detroit. And he said, Ron, you know what it's like on the astral plane. It goes from the most aggressive being that you can possibly think of to a very, very elevated angelic state. And I said, yeah. He said, it's important that each and every person engage as if they are talking to a higher state. And then something in me just said, as if they were humble and just a little kid. And he looked at me, and he had the capability of just engaging well in a teardrop, and he said, if only that could happen, just happen. Then we both laughed, because we know how hard it is to let yourself get to a point where you actually can allow yourself to soften down enough beyond yourself in certain states. And there are many states to actually act like that, because you're learning how to love you in a different way than how you've been taught. I wish you well. We're going to meditate now, and I'll see you on the 22nd of August. I look forward to it. Take care, everybody.
Lalita Devi नारायणी Satkanchanatatangayugalaye namo namaha. Kapolaye namo namaha. Manidarpana sankasha kapolaye namo namaha. Om Tambula purita smera vadanaye namo namaha. Radanaye namo namaha. Samuchaya Kandaraye namo namaha. Samuchaya Kandaraye namo namaha. Om Stula Mukta Palodara Suharaye namo namaha. Mangalya Mangalaye namo namaha. Girishabadha Mangalya Mangalaye namo namaha. Om Padmapasham Kushala Sadkarabjaye namo namaha. Sukuchaye namo namaha. Suvarnakumbhayugma Sukuchaye namo namaha. Om Ramaniya Chaturbahu Sanyuktaye namo namaha. Jakanaye namo namaha. Om Saubhagya Chata Shringara Madhyamaye namo namaha. Saubhagya Chata Shringara Madhyamaye Vardinye Namo Namaha Shankaracharyatra Madhya Vardinye Namo Namaha Om Chidagnikunda Sambodha Sudehaye Namo Namaha Chidagnikunda Sambodha Sudehaye Namo Om Shashankakanda Samyukta Mukutaye Namo Namaha Shashankakanda Samyukta Mukutaye Namo Namaha Om Mathamsa Vadhumandagamanaye Namo Namaha Mathamsa Vadhumandagamanaye Namo Namaha Om Vandarochana Sandroha Vanditaye Namo Namaha Vandarochana Sandroha
Now we'll just do the balancing and grounding. And I hope everybody has a nice evening. Take care. Good night.